Hello, and welcome to Astral Express Chat, a Honkai Star Rail podcast. This is your host, Brent, and I'm joined by my co-host, Zane.
Hello. Welcome back.
Yup, this is our second episode. We've made it a whole week of, I don't know where I'm going with that. Either way, we actually have had semi-response to the podcast, like actual plays, views, etc., which, I'm not gonna lie, is more than I expected. It's not like crazy or anything, but I was worried we were gonna get nothing. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So our poll that we put up on Spotify had a total of 9 votes on it, which let's go. That's great. I love that interaction. And we had 67% of the people say they were pulling for Luocha, which I think makes perfect sense because, Zane, you would be able to attest to this more. He seems to be a really, really good healer.
Minimal investment in he out-heals everybody in the game. And he does it when you want him to do it. So yeah, it's not that big of a surprise, I think, that people are pulling for him.
I would say he's, aesthetically, he's really neat. I don't think he's the craziest looking character we have. If you have, Blade or Kafka coming up.
Yeah, I think design-wise, I mean, it works. It looks good. Yeah. It looks clean.
That's what I was going to say, actually.
But
yeah,
it's not anything, out there, like some of the things that Mihoyo's done in the past. It's no Seela or Bronya, where their outfits are just, insane.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think clean is the word I was going to use exactly.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, he's just really, really, really powerful.
Yeah, I would
really
I would say so. Mine barely has his traces leveled up, and he still out-heals my Bailu.
Yeah.
And that's hilarious.
Yeah, and I guess we can also talk about our experience with the banner and pulling.
Yeah, go for it.
You want to go first.
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay. Yeah. So I'm historically not very lucky. So I was anticipating having to go to 160, 170 pulls. I got him in 30, which was a pleasant surprise. But so that was nice. And then I also decided to randomly pull for his light cone and got that in 30 pulls. So my account's apparently just blessed for Luocha.
Yeah, so. I cannot say the same. I wanted QQs, and I wanted Luocha. I got 1 QQ, Eidolon, and I have 69 total pulls. I know, haha, nice. But I'm not getting super lucky. I got a ton of Yukongs. I have Yukong up to Eidolon 3, I think. Let me look real quick. I think I have her on E3 or E2. It's one of the. Okay, E2.
E2. So basically E3 when 1.2 comes around, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's getting a free copy of her.
Yeah.
And
I haven't been I did not get super lucky on the banner. I wanted lots of QQs, and I only got 1, which I'm glad I got 1, but I really wanted more. But we'll see. I'm going to keep pulling basically until the banner goes away. I'm going to grind all my gems and just dump them in there.
Yeah, because you're not really a Kafka wanter, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm probably not going to end up pulling for Blade or Kafka, really, because I'm just, out of stuff.
Don't worry, guys. We'll bring home a Kafka for you all. So.
Well, you're probably going to take home every character. Are you doing Blade?
Maybe. It's tempting. We'll just have to see what his numbers look like when he comes out.
Okay.
To see if he's actually worth the investment or not.
He looks cool. I will say his aesthetic is really,
yeah.
really
As long as he doesn't get Omega nerfed, we'll probably get him. But if he's just not good, then what's the point in having him?
Fair.
Because my Seela kind of already goes ham, and Clara for the win. Yeah, we love Clara. I'm biased though.
But I guess we can get into, at least for me, how Yukong plays. Because Yukong is the other new character, 4-star Imaginary. So it's a Harmony unit.
So to put a little perspective, we've both kind of spent some time playing the opposite of the new characters. So I've spent some time team building with Luocha. And Bran over here has been experimenting with Yukong some.
Yeah.
So
mainly because I can't experiment with Luocha. If I could, I would.
Yeah. It's fair. I think everyone who can will.
Yeah. So I guess I can talk about how Yukong sort of plays.
Yeah.
And personally, in my experience, it's just weird. And so she can be good, but I feel like you really need a specific team design. The only issue is she's really good if you have a specific turn order to your team, and it doesn't get messed up at all. And what I found a lot of the time, because her skill is like when you use it, the next 2 allied turns get the buff. And what I found was a lot of the time, especially in MOC, there's a lot of those minions that when they hit you, you get slowed a bunch.
Right.
And it would just totally mess up. It would totally mess up my turn order. And then there would be no point using her skill because it would be only for like my support character's turns. And not my actual DPS. And it would just mess it up.
Right. Yeah, I saw a couple of guides, and basically I think the general consensus in the community is that she requires a really high investment to get her to work the way you want, because you have to have your team built exactly around her. But then when you do that, she's really, really good.
I can see that.
So she's almost requires like the level of commitment a DPS requires, because... And she almost requires you to edit some of your pre-existing builds on the team that you're putting her on.
That's fair.
But then if you do that, then she can be like a really high tier support unit. Like, I think some of the tier lists I've seen have put her about on par with Tingyun, which...
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Or, not Tingyun, sorry, Asta. Sorry,
oh, okay.
wrong character.
I was like, really? Tingyun?
Not
Tingyun.
Tingyun. Tingyun's a little bit easier to build.
I was like, that's actually kind of nuts. I did not...
Yeah.
I was about to say, wow, that's better than I thought.
And, you know, Asta just brings a different side of it, right? Because Asta's whole thing is speeding your team up. Mm-hmm. So her whole thing is just more actions are better, while, I can't remember her name.
Who?
The 4-star imaginary.
Oh, Yukong?
Yukong's all about making your existing turns just be more impactful, right?
Yeah. And I think Asta has a really good spot on, like... Especially with Silverwolf, whenever there's a big fire DPS comes out, eventually.
Yeah, Asta's gonna have a place for sure, because her break potential. But so does Yukong, because remember, Yukong's basics count twice,
that's
basically,
true.
for break. So, Yukong's like the most skill efficient breaker, basically.
Yeah.
Because she can generate a skill point while dealing skill break, which is another angle for her, I guess.
True.
But
and I think on a Silverwolf semi-mono imaginary, so like 3 imaginary characters.
Yeah.
She could be really good there.
Yeah, I mean, I think she definitely has a place. And I think as people are kind of experimenting with her and where characters come out, we'll find more and more synergies that go really well with her. And obviously, if you do manage to get her E6, which, I mean, isn't easy, especially since she just came out, but as time progresses, you know, it'll be easier. Her E6, when you use your ult, you get an extra stack, so then you can almost extend it to that third ally.
Okay, so what I was wondering with that is, it says when she uses her ult, she immediately gains a stack. Does that mean you could use it, and then whoever's turn is coming up, they, like, even if you have 0 stacks, it just adds a stack on with the ult?
I mean, that's the way it reads, but I have no idea. I haven't seen an E6 Yukon.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. I mean, that's how it reads.
That's what I was thinking.
If it works that way, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I was about to say, because then you can just wait till a DPS goes and then just use it.
Right, and then it's almost like she can just be skill point positive
yeah,
by only ever really using
her skill if it's a good situation. Yeah.
And then her ult otherwise.
Yeah.
Because her assuming you have E6, you're gonna have her E2, which helps her energy problems.
Yep.
Which, for the record, I think if you're trying to build her, is a really helpful item.
E2?
Yeah, because the extra 5 energy every time an ally's energy reaches its limit is pretty great. Especially if you're running a bunch of ERR ropes on your team. Because then they'll fill up their energy faster, and then she can keep proccing it. So, but yeah. So, well, that doesn't necessarily matter, right? Because she has to use her ult for it to reset. Yeah, I guess that's true.
But if they have the ability to get faster ult energy, then they're up more.
And therefore it charges it faster, and then she can use her ult, which then resets it, which then it can still snowball. So. But yeah, she's very interesting. Her aesthetic's great. I mean, her ult animation is fantastic.
It is really cool. And, like, her ult can help with doing good damage.
Yeah.
But the thing I found is I tried to put her on my team in place of Welt. And I just found that Welt is way more consistent with doing just good stuff. Like,
I mean, Welt's a little bit less reliant on turn order, right? And also your Welt's a lot more built.
True. My Welt is, built. So.
Yeah, I mean, your Welt has pretty much maxed out traces for a level 70 character, really good artifacts, the whole 9 yards, and your Yukong's what level?
50.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a little difference there, but
fair.
And they fill different roles, but like you're saying, Welt is gonna be more universally helpful because he doesn't require that specific party setup. And doesn't get countered by some of those MOC enemies that we're seeing in this iteration of it.
True.
But going over to the Luocha side of things, I mean, it's kind of like we all thought. He heals a ridiculously large amount for free. Literally free. I mean, I don't think I've ever used I think I've used his skill for a skill point once. And that was when his passive heal triggered in the middle of his state, because his technique lets you start with his field out.
Yeah.
So he did that. He took a turn. Then someone got hit below. He healed, and then the auto skill wouldn't have been up after the field was down.
Yeah.
So then there was the potential for me to not have the field up all the time. So I actually used one skill point then, but. It's kind of insane, especially I'm pairing him up with Clara because, then Clara can taunt everyone and counter, and then she can just heal every time she gets hit.
Yeah.
And heal the whole party, and then she basically takes 0 damage while dishing out a ton of damage. And it's kind of gross. A different iteration of this is for those of you who've invested in Tank Clara. Because Luocha doesn't care about how much damage your ally does, just the fact that they do it, and then he heals. Tank Clara is also really good with
This is with Luocha's field up, right?
Yes, this is with his field up.
Because with his field up, every time an ally hits, they heal everybody, right? With his trace.
Well, so it originally just heals that ally. Once you get the second trace talent, like the bonus ability, then he also heals all the rest of the allies except the attacker too.
Okay.
So then he heals everybody. So you have to at least get him to what, level 50?
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know. Wait.
You have to ascend him so he can go to 60. Right?
Is it his first one or his second one?
It's his second one.
Okay. Then,
so I think you have to ascend him so he can go to 60. But once you get that, he can just heal your whole party. And to put it in perspective, my Luocha only has 2,300 attack, and he heals for 2k with his skill. And the zone heals for 600 some on the ally that hits and 300 some on the allies that don't. And don't forget, this can be triggered with ally ultimates, everything. Yeah. So depending on your team, it can heal a lot.
Yeah.
And I found that even while using him with under-leveled, under-geared characters, he can keep everyone alive.
Yeah.
So it's almost fair. He can just keep people that shouldn't stay alive anyways. But granted, this is with a Clara. So there is that kind of odd element of Clara's able to trigger his field way more than the average character. But yeah, I mean, regardless, people are testing it and the healing is just off the charts. Almost too high sometimes. Some of the healing gets a little bit wasted at times, it feels like. But and then that doesn't even take into the fact that his ultimate is insane. The removing a buff on all enemies, and then dealing the damage and gaining the Abyss Flower.
Yep.
And
I'm not surprised that's good. I knew that was going to be great.
Yeah, it just... The amount of things in MOC that you're oh, this guy just got a 20% damage buff and a huge speed increase, and you're just oh, nope, no they didn't.
I have a question. I don't know if you've used it on this enemy. You know that robot enemy where you use skills on him and he charges the sanction thing?
Yeah.
Does it debuff his sanction rate state?
Don't know. I want to say that that's unremovable.
Okay.
But
Because I was wondering, because, like, that would be really, really good if it does.
But I don't know, because I was using my Sela team for that, and
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, if you guys listened in on episode 1, I ended up putting him in on the Clara team, not in place of March, not on the Sela team, because I think Bailu does enough healing for that team, and that team does enough damage that it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, after testing it, like I said, I have mine at level 70. His traces, his passive, like his talent, and his skill are level 5. His ult's level 3, and his basic attack's level 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have both his 2 bonus abilities for the level for like the first ascension one, and then the level ascending to 60. He already heals probably more than my Bailu does. And my Bailu has actual gold pieces of gear on her, and higher trace. I mean, not much higher, but higher traces than that. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of insane how much healing he does on his own, and you can definitely tell the second you get him that he's
good,
real good.
Yeah.
So he lives up to the hype that people had for him for sure. But yeah. So speaking of which, do you want to talk about MOC?
Sure, yeah, we can get into MOC. And I think this MOC, I think the extra effect is more useful than the last one.
Yeah, it helps with clearing it faster, right?
Yeah.
So, a lot of the transitions, now that people are starting to get more leveled up characters, people are starting to transition to, single character sustained teams.
You mean hyper carries?
No, just one survivability unit. So either 2 DPS with 1 supportive unit or a hyper carry team with 1 support unit. So now that people are getting leveled up, your Natasha's able to like sustain your whole team, right? Or you're able to use Gepard or something. Granted, these are relying on the fact that you've hit at least like a 5-star sustain unit. If you haven't, then you've got your handy trusty March and Fire MC team still.
Yeah, I know that.
Until they release another 4-star healer or 4-star AoE shielder of some sort.
I just need to get one.
Hopefully they will do at some point, because it will be really nice to have that. So as that has been happening, this memory turbulence is kind of helpful for that because of the fact that it reduces defense, right? So you're able to do more damage, so you're able to accelerate your run. While the last one helped with your sustain, which almost helped with that transition to people trying those single unit sustain teams. I don't know. I don't have 100% the analytics to know for sure that that's what caused it. I mean, I think we all knew that was going to happen eventually, because that's just kind of how these games tend to go, is you want the less sustain you can have on the team as possible.
Yeah,
that way
you want the most damage.
Right, because obviously the faster you kill it, the less
and with this, it's just about how fast you clear it.
Right, exactly.
How you get the stars.
Yeah, because, I mean, obviously you could run through sustained in a DPS and just never die, but you're not clearing it fast enough to
that
get
only
your
give
stars.
you 1 star, because, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just kind of not worth it, right? Because everyone wants a bunch of Jades, and why would you take a third of the Jades when you can try to clear it fast? So, plus clearing it fast is a lot more fun.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, have there been any stages that gave you some difficulties?
I've made it up to 6. I cannot beat 6, because 6 is where we get the deer boss fight.
Oh, that one scared me.
Which is also really annoying because of how the enemies, because it's all, it's 3 waves in one battle, not 2 separate battles that you get to pick when you fight them. It's all in all at once. So I can't, do techniques and stack them over the course of both battles. Which is annoying, but it is what it is. And I barely beat the first fight with the robots, and then by the time I got to the second wave, I couldn't even. When I got to the second, when I switched to my second team, I got to the point where I couldn't even beat the gatekeeper robots. I couldn't beat them.
I mean, those things are hard. They do a surprisingly large amount of damage, are quite resilient, and act out of turn.
Yeah.
And those what are they? The goldfish-looking fire things.
Oh, yeah.
Those things actually do a surprisingly large amount of damage.
It's mainly that they shred your defense.
And they're durable. So...
Yeah.
And, like you said, the shredding of the defense also makes it so that then you're more susceptible to that boss, so that does a lot more damage.
Yeah.
Well, I guess elite unit, not boss. But, yeah, Stage 6 is definitely a harder one. Because even if you beat that, the deer is no joke. I almost lost to it, even with my hypercarry Sela, because I didn't realize that it would just make infinite leaf pellet things.
Yeah.
Twigs. I don't know what you call it. Blossoms. That's what they're called. Or twigs. That's what their official name is, I guess. Yeah, Stage 6 is no joke.
Well, how did you kill the boss, Zane?
By Bronya ulting, Silver Wolf ulting, and Sela ulting all at once to 100 to 0, the 2 stages. Because otherwise, it was going to heal forever, and I would never kill it.
Yeah. So you just straight killed it.
Yes, that was my solution. Was instead of killing the plants, just kill the boss.
Yeah.
Because I tried killing the plants, and I was dying.
Yeah.
Horrifically. In fact, you were watching that.
Yeah, that was kind of enjoyable.
My team was getting massacred, and I went, you know what, we're just gonna YOLO hope that this kills it.
I think that's the whole, like, design behind the boss, is that it's supposed to be, like, overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because people will want to kill all the minions and then focus on the boss, but you're supposed to just focus on the boss.
It's very bizarre, right? Because... Yeah. I mean, you have to kill that golden bloom twig thing, because otherwise...
Or you don't have to.
I mean, I guess you don't have to.
Because if you don't kill it, it will... When the gold vine goes off, it kills all the other branches.
Right.
So then they all die.
But how much damage does it do?
But it deals a chunk of damage. So
right.
It's like,
so, I mean, if
you can't survive that, then yeah, it's not.
Then you're required to. And my team was already kind of low.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler alert, my Bailu only heals for, like, 1100 when she uses her burst. Which is pathetically sad. But anyways, so I was stuck killing that thing first, and then eventually, after my Bronya finally got taunted to the twig thing and forced a basic attack, I just decided to YOLO try killing it because I was going to lose if I didn't. And turns out 145,000 damage is enough to kill something.
Yeah, see, you hit numbers like that. My team's only sitting over here hitting like 10 to 30k most of the time, maybe 40.
Hey, I mean, my Clara hits for maybe that hard occasionally if she's hitting physically weak characters, so it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I know. It's just I wish I could do more damage, but you know, it is what it is.
I just love Sela, so all of my resources go into Sela. So. She's still not done. I have depression every time I think about it. She needs to do more damage. And until she can hit for like 200k, it's not good enough. But I digress. But yeah, so that fight was hard. I need to redo Stage 4 for myself, because I only got 2 stars on that, because Tingyun got destroyed by Kafka. Yeah, Kafka kind of looked at Tingyun and was like, you know, there might be an ulted Clara here with a March Shield Armor. I don't care, I'm going to hit you 3 times in a row.
Okay.
And then Tingyun died.
The big old death.
Yeah, my level 60 Tingyun with only 1600 HP didn't live too long.
I'm trying to remember why in the world I couldn't get more than 1 star on this.
You might not have tried it in a while with your updated team.
I'm curious, because, like...
Kafka puts up a fight, I will say. Especially when she dominates your cleanser.
Yeah, that definitely
It's kind
sucks.
of rough. So she dominated my March a couple of times, and my March was my cleanser at the time, because this was pre-Luocha. And it was not so pretty when my whole team was getting shred and I couldn't defend. But yeah, I haven't attempted 7. I after getting PTSD from the deer.
Well, somehow this is supposed to go all the way up to frickin' 15 stages. No, wait,
I
it's
see
10?
I see 10.
Okay, am I crazy? I could have sworn it was 15.
There's 15 on the memory side.
Oh, maybe I flipped it on accident or something. I don't know.
So only 10, but I haven't done 7 yet. I'm kind of afraid after how hard that deer was, what 8 will look like. I could probably beat 7, just haven't done it yet. It'll happen. I'll do it sometime in the next 5 days. I procrastinate things in this game.
Fair. That's me with Simulated Universe like every week.
Yeah, you can ask Bran about how often I do events, and it's normally the second or last day that they're there.
Always annoys me. Like the Silver Wolf event with the free good light cone, you didn't even do it until like the very...
Hey, it was the second to last day, and I stayed up till 2 a.m. doing it.
It was
but I got it.
Crazy.
So now my Pella's happy with me, because that light cone's insane on her. I don't know. I do the events when I feel like doing them. But, yeah, so has your teams been panning out in the MOC like you've hoped?
I'd say for the most part, yeah. My second team is definitely getting a lot better, I would say. At least that's how it feels.
Right.
Which I'm definitely very grateful for. Because it's like, I put a lot of resources into that, and I've kind of switched it around a bunch. And it finally feels like it's gotten to a point where it can semi-work.
So what have you settled on now that you're kind of coming to the end of shuffling around everyone?
See, I haven't quite settled on it because if I can get
good old
Luocha, he's gonna replace March. Or he's gonna replace Natasha on my second team, because right now she's on there to heal.
Mm-hmm. And then you'd be running double quantum, double imaginary, right?
Yeah, which is what I want to do with Silverwolf, because if I run double quantum with double imaginary, then when I get into a fight, if it has either of those weaknesses, I can just guarantee hit the other one with Silverwolf.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like is going to be good.
Yeah, I would say so. I can't imagine it wouldn't be good. I think the hybrid 2 and 2 is going to be a Silverwolf staple. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very powerful.
That and the mono teams against someone who's already quantum weak.
Mm-hmm.
I think those will be Silverwolf's kind of bread and butter.
Basically, if the enemy's either weak to quantum or whatever other element you put with it, it'll do fine.
Yeah. It's just interesting to see how things are going to evolve as the game progresses. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so sustain is kind of my issue, I think. The first team, my Sela team, the issue is sustain. I need to work on my Bailu. Because she does not heal enough. And then on my second team, I need Clara to hit like a truck.
I just like how you're just like, hit like a truck.
Yes, she does. She doesn't hit hard enough. 32,000 damage.
Do you have a support with her? Or is she right now just on her own?
She's got Tingyun sometimes.
Ah.
But Tingyun also buffs yanking sometimes.
Yeah.
Most of the time, because I haven't run into a lot of physically weak enemies. So Claire's just kind of sitting there going like, hey, I can do 18,000 damage. But yeah. I'm only dealing 18,000 damage, and I'm like, Clara, you should be doing way more than that. If you're going to be on this team, please do like 50,000 damage. That would be good. Granted, once I level her up, she'll do 30 or 20% more. I can't remember what the trace is. 30% more damage, because the counter gets increased by 30%. When you ascend her to level 80, the final ascension. But, yeah.
Alright, well, thanks for listening to this episode. If you guys have anything you want us to talk about, be sure to send us an email at astralexpresschat@gmail.com, all one word.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate your support.
Yeah. Alright, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.